How do I introduce our guest today? She's someone who's passionate about acting, who's done theatre, films and television of course, and is also a writer. Welcome Meeta Vashisht.
Thank you.
How do I introduce you? You've done theatre, you're a trained actor from National School of Drama.
Actress.
Okay. You have any problems calling you an actor?
Yes, because I know it's considered fashionable to be called an actor, and they say ki if people who are doctors and writers and poets, you don't call them doctoress, and you don't. But the fact is, as an actress, as a human being whose profession is working with the body, my body is my instrument. I don't have a canvas I can paint on. It's my body that is my mode of expression, and it is a female body, you know. It's true that when I'm working or I'm preparing a role, I don't let my very personal experiences interfere too much with the character, so that I can, find that space between the character and myself.
Right.
But at the same time, I like the word actress. I love it. There's a sense of it expresses my body. It expresses my gender, and I love my gender. Why not? And come on, practically speaking, if I was to play a hero in the film, I would have to be the heroine,
Right.
Mr. Bachchan can play Shahenshah. I can only play Mrs. Shahenshah.
Yes, you're right.
So it's like that. So I love the word actress. I think it's wonderful. It has a sense of mystique, romance. It has so many
feminine charm.
I would say it's just charming. It's me. It's my gender.
Okay.
Why should I give it up? Because unlike a doctor whose skills on the operating table are not to be determined by what gender he or she is.
Absolutely.
You're cutting up someone's liver and transplanting it or whatever. It doesn't mean if you're a doctor or a doctoress it makes a difference, but it definitely makes a difference if you're an actress. Of course you're going to get the women's roles, unless it's specified that you are supposed to play a woman playing a man.
Okay.
So I like actress. Thanks.
So you are an actress.
That's right. I think acting is all about being without preconditions. It really is. Acting,
uninhibited.
You have to live with your body. You have to be open to people of every kind. Therefore, when you're open to people of every kind, you look at them for what they are and you don't judge them. And you also sometimes find them interesting enough to imitate them or become like them.
In some
be like them.
Yes.
Your inspirations are many.
Yes.
Your inspirations don't come from one religion, one culture, one mohalla, one social space. And acting is about a variety of roles. You live a variety of experiences. And what I love about acting is, which is why I hate doing these daily soaps, where you're stuck doing one role for the rest of your life for 6 years, is because I wanted to live many lives in one lifetime. And if I can do 6 beautiful, tremendous, fantastic roles in 1 year, I've lived 6 lives, new lives.
Okay. Acting bug did bite you early.
Well, acting was something I did very well, but I never thought of it as a profession till I passed out of college, because in college acting was all about winning prizes for the college. Then I passed out of college, joined MA because I didn't know what else to do, joined the Punjab University, English MA. I used to be a sailor. I wanted to become a sailor as a profession, but the Merchant Navy and the Indian Navy turned me down. They said, we don't have women sailors. Okay. So I would apply to them and write letters and say, can I be a sailor? So then I joined a theatre group run by Professor Mohan Maharishi. I was in my first year MA English. And when I entered that group, before that, I did an amateur play for a group called Abhinet. I played Laura in The Glass Menagerie. It's a very famous American play by Tennessee Williams.
Yeah.
10 days before the show, my boat capsized during the regatta. I drank a lot of dirty water, ended up in hospital with amoebic dysentery and on a drip. Came out of hospital just on the day of the show. Was so weak I could hardly stand, but fortunately Laura's character didn't need that kind of rigorous energy. And I stood on stage and I remembered everyone's lines, I remembered my own lines, and something almost magical happened, Arnab. You see, this is the first time I was doing a play for not winning any prizes. I was just on stage as an actress, playing a character. And I had not rehearsed for those last 10 days. But I used to think of the role on my hospital bed, and I stood there on stage and I knew my own lines, I knew the lines of all my co-actors, the moves, everything. And when that auditorium darkened, it was an auditorium of 600, 700 people, Tagore Theatre. It was for the first time that I experienced an almost spiritual moment of communication, which was as if there were like 700 tentacles had come out of my body and joined the 700 tentacles coming from every single member in the audience. And we were breathing together almost, And it was strange because I had never felt that surge of Adan Pradhan, jise kehte hain na, the energy flowing back and forth between you and every single individual in that auditorium. And it was palpable, I'm telling you. It's what these spiritualists talk about now, when you're totally in yourself and at the same time you're connected to everything in the world. That was that moment, and I was only 19. And that's when I realized that for the rest of my life, this is all I want.
You would act.
I will act.
Okay.
I will act on the stage. I don't care where the money is going to come from. My initial romance of acting was that we will go as a theatre group from one small town to a village to a city. Whatever people give us to eat, we'll perform in the evenings, sleep in our tents and then go further on, That was my whole idea of how I was going to live life as an actress.
Okay. And then you decided to come to Delhi?
Well, once I met Professor Maharishi after that and I joined his theatre group, I realized acting is a huge universe. There is so much to learn in it. And there is almost every aspect of life can be put into acting, whether it's music or science or biology or physics or playing carom. It will all find a place in acting at some point or the other. So I said, I want to now train. Till this time I had been very careless about my studies. I didn't much care for it. I was supposed to be intelligent, but I drifted through school and college, generally. Doing fine, but not really as an academic. It's when I decided to join acting that I said that I want to know everything there is to about it. So then I joined first the Department of Indian Theatre, Chandigarh. Then I went to National School of Drama the next year, because the year I wanted to join National School of Drama was on strike. So I joined it the next year, and then that was 3 amazing years from 1984 to 87 that I spent at the School of Drama, training in every aspect of the theatre, from lights, yoga, martial arts, costume, makeup, set design, sweeping the floor. That was part of, when whether you're doing the main role or not, if you have arrived before everybody else for rehearsal, it's your, I wouldn't say duty, but it's part of your discipline, part of the...
But were you ready for it? Because as an actor, there are times, when you only want to do acting.
No, for me, see what is the great thing about being an actress or an actor is that, it is not just about acting. When you're an actress or an actor, you have to know about every aspect of life. It is not that aapne script padh li, you read some lines, you stand on stage and you look beautiful. No. You have to know psychology, sociology, philosophy. You have to know the background of that character that you're doing. You have to know why they think the way they think, why they sit the way they sit, where have they come from, the clothes they wear, why do they wear them, how do they wear them, the how, why, because of everything takes you into the sociology, the geography, the aesthetics, the history, the ethnicity of a character. So there is no way that as an actor, now I'm using the word actor in a more generic way, that as an actor you can be casual or say, oh, I only want to know the lines, and the emotion that goes with it. But every emotion also has a psychological, sociological raison d'etre. It is born out of a certain sociology also, And so it is the deepest, vastest knowledge of the human science, the human art, the human everything that you have to
very holistic in many ways.
It's totally holistic. When I teach acting to students, they say they love it because at the end of the class they have come so close to themselves. They've understood acting, but they've also understood themselves. And they say, ma'am, your class is like a spiritual class. So I said, well, we're all spiritual creatures, all of us human beings. And when you get really close to yourself and you understand yourself, you dissect yourself completely, that is when you can somewhere get close to understanding the bones of acting.
That's when you learn acting,
Yes.
But when you perform, not just on stage, maybe stage gives you a lot more, but when you do television or films for that matter, your co-actors may not be that responsive, because they may not be taking acting so seriously the way you do, the way you've been taught.
Yes.
So how do you deal with it?
See, even in drama school, it wasn't like every student came there with, I'm going to learn
Passion.
everything. People have their own journeys and their own paths. I remember when I did Kanch Ghar, this play that changed my life, the guy who used to be my romantic, heartbeat in the play was, he was the husband of the lady, my teacher. He wasn't a particularly attractive guy. I was 19, he was maybe 35 or 7. And there was nothing about him that was romantic, if you're looking for inspiration in that sense. But you see, when you're acting, you're not working with an idea of that kind of real. You're not saying, oh, well, Arnab, if you're not, the a Greek god, I'm sorry, there's no way I can produce the romance in me. It is somewhere inside me that I have to find. And I remember at the end of the play saying, if I had to, I could kiss a toad on stage in the most romantic manner. It would not matter to me. Because when I'm embracing or holding or in a romantic moment on screen or anywhere with another human being, I am performing. And I don't mean that's a lie, but I mean the idea of love is there, but I'm not necessarily in love with you, So in that sense,
you're so engrossed in your...
It is a deeply personally impersonal art. You have to be deeply impersonal. To bring in personal elements of love or hatred into the craft and the art, I believe is a disgrace.
Exactly.
I believe it's an insult. I believe it's a self-indulgence. When people fall in love because they were doing the role together for a long time, I think that's terrible.
So you follow all the techniques. Sometimes a lot of techniques start showing because you get too much into the technicalities of acting.
Oh, that's a very fantastically interesting question, Arnab, because for all of my films I've had to, like for Siddheshwari I had to learn Kathak for 3 months. For Kasba, a film by Kumar Shani, I had to practice a walk, the way that Tejo, this main character, will walk for almost 2 weeks before I cracked it. Now the interesting thing is that all the homework that you do before you enter a performance, you have to forget about it once you enter performance space.
Okay.
So actually it's like, as an Olympic trainer, to make it easier for our listeners and for everybody listening in, is for example if you were training for the Olympics, say, and you're training to be a sprinter. See, while you're training, you will be told, put your foot like this, maybe. This is the muscle that works. This is the muscle that allows you to, move forward with more agility. If you tilt your body to this angle, this is what will happen. But when you actually run the Olympic race, you're not thinking all these things. You have, honed yourself into the knowledge till you forget the knowledge, till it becomes a part of your body, till you no longer will think about it. And there is no way that you will actually recall it at the moment of doing. With a lot of actors, you can't easily switch from one medium to another. Fortunately, the camera, I discovered as a young kid, as a young actress, that there is something called being the camera loving you. And the camera did love me because I never considered myself particularly good looking in life, but on camera, there's something else that happens, On stage, it's the same thing. For me, all the 3 mediums feed me, I feed them. They feed me as an actress in terms of the energy. I know how to regulate my presence from one medium to another, The theatre gave me a solid grounding because we trained in martial arts, dance, everything, a sense of space. We even studied Indian miniature paintings with Geeti Sen. So you understand what is the meaning of a frame, and when a figure is framed in the frame, what happens. That knowledge came to me in such use in Siddheshwari. That knowledge also comes to me in use in cinema. For example, this is a large frame. The frame of the camera. This is how much I have to be. Television, it's a small frame. But you also know that the camera is looking at this much part of your body, but that other part of your body is also connected to this much part. So, if you do a little harkat in the other part of your body, the reverberation will be felt here. And the audience will see it. So for me, I don't actually make a difference in the 3 mediums in terms of the passion, the skills, the knowledge, and the amount of work required.
But you've been doing theatre for a long time. Consistently that. So, and you're writing plays now. Lal Ded, I know.
Lal Ded, yes.
Yes.
Lal Ded is actually a long journey, yes.
So, do you think you find more solace doing theatre?
Life changes all the time, and you have to, as a creative person, go with the changes. Like when I passed out of drama school in 1987, the two television serials had come in suddenly, Hum Log and Bunyad.
Yeah.
These were just 2 years before a year and a half before I graduated, and they finished the theatre scene completely. So suddenly there was only television and films were happening. I fortunately got a lot of wonderful films with Kumar Sani, Govind Nilani, Manikol. And also wonderful television with Gulzar Saab, Govind Nilani, Shyam Benegal, Ketan Mehta, and the person who did Space City Sigma, Mr. Talwar, and Bizet Banerjee, all these wonderful. So also television work was so great at that time,
Yes.
And great films. There was no theatre. I had planned my life for the theatre. I dreamt of the National School of Drama repertory, but it was over. And fortunately, as soon as I stepped out of drama school, I was flooded with offers for films. So I did films and television for a long time. And I kept saying, I'm a theatre actress, But actually I was doing no theatre at that time.
Was it because you didn't find too many trained actors in films?
No, everybody who was from the theatre was in films those days. And television.
Okay. Television, of course.
Television, everyone from the theatre was. Films, it was still, there was a big divide between commercial. Like when I stepped onto the sets of Chandni, I looked at Vinod Khanna and Sridevi and all. I was like, oh my god, I've only seen them in posters. They're in real life. And I used to be such an misfit on that set because they would all be sitting, their wives and all would come in dressed in jewelry and silks in summer. I would be sitting and eating my lunch on the steps of the bungalow with my torn kids. I loved my torn kids and my torn jeans. I would live in them. So everybody who turned up on sets used to dress up as if they were going for a wedding party, shortly after the shoot. And I would come like, I'm a worker. Like where do I take off my t-shirt, jeans because I have to get into costume? And I would invariably be coming from a schedule in Banaras of Siddheshwari, which I had taken 2 days off from to come and finish Chandni, So it was a very funny place I was in. So then what happens is now, when you're in your 20s, 30s, you still get great roles. Then in India, how Hindi cinema is, they're so adolescent that they don't write roles for women.
The moment you cross 30, I mean,
you cross 35, 40, there's nothing much happening,
Right.
So then you realize that you can't actually waste your time doing this stuff. And people still remember Pachpan Khambe Lal Diwar, it's lovely work, So theatre is not because there's nothing else to do, but theatre is a genuine calling. I started directing also, So life, you have to keep making sure your creative juices are flowing and you're taking care of them and you're respecting them, more importantly. Tomorrow, even if people don't give me a great role, I'll work in the theatre as an actress or do something with my theatre training in a certain way.
Which was your original goal?
So in some strange way, I've started looking more inward rather than outward. And I've started actually, for example, I'll tell you, I recently started watching for inspiration to make sure that I am not slacking off anywhere as an actress, or maybe I wasn't getting enough inspiration from the world around, which is not always writing those great films. It's a rare film which is really good, or a theatre play that you can really say, wow, You've also worked with the best minds, so it's difficult to come by great minds. But sometimes I'm still doing some wonderful work with very lovely people, ads, this, that, many things. So I actually look at some of my own work now. I look at Pachpan Khambe Lal Diwar and I say, oh my god, what was the level of, and this is not out of nostalgia, no, or out of self-indulgence. It's like, what was the purity of myself that allowed me to bring my skills with such ease, without preconceiving, predetermining anything, and what allowed me to stay in a moment and give it time.
So why do you think films like Drohkal are not being made today? Do you think there was a time for it, or they were ahead of their time?
No, Drohkal was very much in its time.
We remember such actors and acting and directors with a lot of fondness. So are you willing to take that risk and
I'm always taking that risk.
No, take a films as a director, make a...
Well, I did Lalde the play, which is in its 12th year, on the Kashmiri mystic poet. And it's a collaborative, I had a lot of wonderful collaborators in the process, so my brochure gives credit to all of those. And it's in its 12th year. It is not the most commercially viable play on paper, but when people see it, they don't leave for, almost an hour afterwards. Now that is taking a risk. I made a film on Lal Ded called She of the Four Names, which is for PSBT. I'm right now making a film on acting and money call.
Oh,
Okay. I had written a film called Gum, which was about, which is a very mainstream film, but which almost got made in 2009, and then there was a, slump in the market. So, my producer, who was a very big guy, changed tracks and stopped making films and went into another very big entertainment business. So my film got left behind in that. So I'm always I'm always sticking my neck out. I'm always willing to take the risk.
But being so passionate about acting, cinema, theatre, everything.
And directing and writing.
directing and writing also.
Yeah, I've also directed theatre plays.
Would you take up just anything, if something came your way in the form of a role, something that you probably don't identify with, but, it gives you...
good money?
Good money.
Once in a while I've done that. And I've basically not regretted it, but you can see, most of my work is not about that. But you also think, and this is where I'm saying the pitfalls are, sometimes you think, like I'm talking about 10 years ago, you're not getting any main roles, so let's just do a role because being seen is important.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've come to a point where I say, you know what, I'm going to be seen in what I love being seen in, and that's it.
Okay.
So it's going to be on my terms. Take it or leave it,
But do you think good actors ever get erased from memory? I mean, we have such...
No, I don't. That's such a beautiful thing you've said, Arnab, because I feel I don't think good actors go from memory, because I think I'm speaking personally from my experience, but I'm sure almost everybody worth their salt as an actor has exactly the same experience, where people 20 years later come back and talk to you about your work at that point of time. And even if you've not done a great film in the last 5 years, the work you did then was beautiful.
It's something they remember very fondly.
And it was great. It's wonderful work, and you're so lucky because we got work. Today, there's a lot of actors. They get a lot of work, but they have to send 100 messages saying, I'm coming at this time on this episode, please watch, because there are 200 channels. There's Netflix now. So it's a very hard struggle for people to get themselves seen and noticed, and they're not supported very well in terms of the script or the shot taking or anything, I think we were just lucky we were at that phase, but that doesn't mean that's how it's always going to be.
As a professional actor, you also need to be very aware of your surroundings.
Yes.
You have to be aware of what is happening in the country.
Yes.
So I think you're planning to do something for the Jawans.
For me, the focus is what's happening to the soldier and to his family. And yes, I do want to find if there is some way. I was thinking it'd be lovely to actually create some kind of a fund or an awareness thing where the Jawans and their families feel that we are at the center of focus in this country rather than, actors.
Okay. So definitely your father was one who inspired you a lot. Are there any other actors?
It was not even inspiring, Arnab, it was a way of life.
The way of life.
Yeah, we didn't think twice about the fact that, if, this is important.
Right.
It wasn't something that this is important because you are supposed to be a good Indian. It was, this is the way it is.
Who are the like-minded people who will further inspire you? Who are the directors you've enjoyed working with? Because you were on the same wavelength. You share the same bandwidth.
I have loved working on all my early films because all those directors were people who were great in their field of work.
You mean Money Call?
So Money Call was, and with Money Call, it was... he's such a funny guy. He'd right in the beginning when he was casting me for his film, he met me in a cafe in Delhi and said, the worst thing I can do to my film is to cast you because you're a trained actress. And trained actors are terrible for cinema. So I was flummoxed. I said, what is he saying? So for me, the challenge, as a young kid, I was very, very focused on the fact that there is a talent and I am talented and I'm going to give it my best. And this person sitting behind the camera is a genius and he's talented, but he's not an actress. I'm the actress. So he's a great director and I am internally a great actress. So I'm going to show you, I used to love that kind of challenge. I love the fact that someone is great at what they do.
And you're good at what you do.
And I love the fact that this is going to be such a challenge. I love that. I don't look for like-minded people. I look for people who are fantastic at what they do, who are totally individualistic in their own way.
So what did you learn from Money Call and Govind Nihalani?
And Kumar. They were three very different directors to work with. Actually, every single director is very different to work with. every single co-actor you work is very different to work with. What I love is the differences.
Okay.
I love the differences. I love making that journey to bridge that difference, you know, and that journey from them towards me to bridge the difference. I don't look for people who think like me, because I also don't think any two individuals in the world are alike. And I think the idea of trying to find an individual who thinks like you is just a sort of kind of egotism, you know what I mean?
Okay.
You know, it's like, why do you want someone who thinks like you all the time? It's more interesting to find someone who thinks the way they do, and you say, oh, that's interesting, but this is how I think, you know, and then you have an active, energetic relationship, you know, with that person as a professional. Unfortunately, in today's times, we are always looking for similarities rather than celebrating the differences.
Yes. So your journey remains the same, your journey continues.
Yes.
Your passion remains the same, be it acting, writing, acting in theatre, or in cinema, or for television.
And the 4Gs.
And the 4Gs, of course.
The 4Gs.
Yes.
That's my life, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's in my lifeblood. So
as we said earlier, passion remains her middle name, and let's hope it remains the same forever. Thank you for coming to our studios and sharing your experiences.
thank you so much, Arnab. Thank you very much.
This broadcast came to you from the digital channel of the General Overseas Service of All India Radio.